Hello, and welcome to Emerging Technologies Digital Rights Management Software or DRM software, produced by me, John Kaduan. So, let's start. And what is DRM? So, DRM is a way for publishers and distributors to control your access to software for the purpose of protecting the copyright holder of said content from unauthorized distribution and modification. It is a digital license on the software that you buy, and it limits your access to, for example, a publisher doesn't want you to edit files on the software, then the DRM will be there to limit your access to the software, and you can't edit the software. Next is, how does it work? So it is commonly applied to files like music, ebooks, video, and other creative products. So when DRM software is embedded in these files, the companies which own or distribute can limit how they are used, read, watched, or played. So of course, by this, it is a very effective method to combat piracy because it is very hard to crack software when you have DRM within it, and usually it takes a lot of time and effort to crack software with DRM. Next is what caused the emergence of DRM. So digital piracy was very rampant in the early 2000s, and even now it's fairly common, but not too much. It was commonplace to see someone torrenting music, games, and movies on the web. Even now, people still torrent. Of course, a lot of people still torrent and there are communities that are made in pirating software. I even delved into this community, and I also torrent some stuff using software that can torrent. Suffice to say, DRM was not effective enough until companies started investing heavily to protect their intellectual property. So, what is the impact of DRM in today's society? In in the early days, like 10 years ago, 5 years ago, DRM has affected society heavily in that entertainment has now been filled with subscriptions and companies limiting your freedom with the software that you bought, and that has largely reduced digital pirates. Some are even more determined to combat DRM, like virus groups. One of the leading DRM software today is Denuvo Anti-Tamper, which is found in AAA high-budget video games, which in the recent years have made it significantly harder to crack video games. Although mostly high-budget video games, like I said, use Denuvo, meaning that if you didn't have it for your game, like most games that are published today, it most likely be available to pirate in a couple of days. For the exemption of multiplayer games, some multiplayer games, if you pirate them, you need the official servers to actually play the game. So the exception is single player games or games that have no DRM, and you can easily pirate or crack those games. And of course, if Denuvo was commonplace for every software, piracy would take a big hit because Denuvo right now is very powerful, and I think it's getting a bit harder to crack for crackers and pirates. So piracy is still rampant, of course. Piracy is still commonplace in the internet as people have found workarounds to the monitoring of ISPs, where they sometimes in other countries, your service provider will detect that if you are downloading uh, illegal files or copyrighted files illegally, and uh, you haven't paid for it. They will send an email or a letter that they're aware of your actions, and they will say that this is a warning. There will be consequences, something like that. and also the lack of software that use strong DRM like Lenovo. For example, it is very easy to download music, some video games, a lot of video games, you can easily download it, and of course, you can easily download movies. There are tons of sites that allow for pirating movies. So, sites like OnlineFix.me, Fit Your Repacks, Sis.Rin.True, and uh, like the other pirating sites which host video services. Is .Rin.True, and many more are still filled with users and communities of digital pirates. As time goes on, the battle between companies and digital pirates increasingly becomes more intense. So that's about all. And here are my references. Thank you for listening.